The calm before the storm. The penultimate race of NASCAR's regular season heads to the second race of NASCAR's doubleheader from the Dover International Speedway. What we saw was a lot of exciting racing, but most importantly, a major change in NASCAR's playoff bubble. And it creates a massive storyline heading into next weekend at Daytona. Yo, what is up everyone, my name is Jett Krause and welcome back to the episode of MDK Victory Stop, the 2020 Dry Den 311, the second part on Sunday just concluded, and Kevin Harvick, unbelievable domination, 56th career win of the season, ties him with Kyle Busch for 9th on NASCAR's all-time win list. But let's be honest, even though Harvick dominated the race, he was not the story. The story was Jimmie Johnson. He was on a mission. So because it was a doubleheader, the top 20 from yesterday's race was inverted. That meant that drivers like Matt DiBenedetto, Ryan Newman were out in front, including drivers like Aric Almirola, Tyler Reddick, Chris Buescher, and others all started up towards the front, while you had the drivers of Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr. start in the middle of the pack. And just like what happened on Saturday, lap 7, on the same lap, we had our first crash of the day. Joe Logano just dumps Ricky Stenhouse Jr., slides up and taps the left rear of Stenhouse and smacks him into the inside wall. And apparently also more drivers got damaged. The 51 and the 7 car both slid, like synchronized spinning, off of turn number 4 to back it into the outside wall. And most importantly, you had drivers Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch suffer damage in this race. Kyle Busch trying to slow down because of this wreck. Chase Elliott, apparently he didn't slow down enough and just pile drives into the back end of Kyle Busch's car, number 18. Chase Elliott, done for the day. He immediately took it to the garage. Kyle Busch, on the other hand, made several pit stops to fix the damage. Even though he would recover, surprisingly, to have a nice top 20 finish, he would not have any chance at winning, which was disappointing because I thought after what we saw yesterday, he would have a great chance at winning this race. But unfortunately, he didn't have an opportunity to even show how much speed that 18 car had. Caution then come out later on lap 37, I believe, for debris. You had William Byron and Ryan Blaney stay out for stage points. Blaney was able to hold on to the lead actually for quite some time, but a hard-charging Kevin Harvick, who had issues in yesterday's race, like I said, was flat out dominant. He was able to charge past through the field because he started, I believe, on the bottom half of the top 10, and was able to pass Ryan Blaney just before the final lap of stage 1 to then win the stage. So Ryan Blaney finishes in second, William Byron in third. Byron had a really good day from an embarrassing race yesterday. He made up a lot of points to fellow, I guess you could say, fellow rival in this situation and teammate Jimmie Johnson. Fourth, Aric Almirola. Fifth, Brad Keselowski. Sixth, Joey Logano. Seventh, Matt DiBenedetto, who is also another driver that is in the playoff bubble. Eighth, Jimmie Johnson. Ninth, Kurt Busch. And Austin Dillon rounds out the top 10. Stage 2, really nothing happened in terms of actual events, except for this little thing that happened early on, I think, in stage number 2. Track repairs. The red flag came out due to the track falling apart off of turn number 4. It reminds me a lot of back in 2014, where a piece of concrete started to come out from the track in the middle of 1 and 2 and stopped the race. Same thing happened again, but this time in 3 and 4. And like I said, nothing happened else in stage 2. Kevin Harvick go on to win the stage. And here's a look at the top 10. You had Logano, Hamlin, Truex, the usual suspects, Ryan Blaney, William Byron in 6th, Alex Bowman 7th, Cole Custer in 8th, Jimmie Johnson in 9th, and Brad Keselowski in 10th. But huge props to the 48 car of Jimmie Johnson. He had a pit road speeding penalty right after, I believe, the beginning of, or I should say, after the red flag came out and they did the caution procedures. They brought the cars on the pit road for pit stops, normal pit stop sequences. Johnson was caught for too fast entering. He had to start at the tail end of the field, and he drove his way up from outside the top 20 to 9th. It was, again, let me tell you, Johnson was on a mission. You could tell he had a really fast car, and I really felt that if he was on the same strategy in terms of having good tires and was able to be up front, I felt like he could possibly challenge for the win. But obviously he wasn't able to do that. He was already behind the ball when he got that pit road speeding penalty, had to start at the back, and had a tremendous drive towards the front. He even had a bit of an incident, including a rookie Cole Custer when he was battling for that 9th spot, or early in the stage, I believe. He drove in the corner in turn 1 and just gave him a little nugget, or a little tap, pushed him up the hill, and went by him. it was really cool to see Johnson move up to the field, but I should say I was a nervous wreck because every time he's around a car, I'm afraid someone's going to get loose and hit him. Because with Johnson in 2020, something like that's bound to happen. On to stage 3 with 90 laps to go. Denny Hamlin, who was running in the top 3 virtually almost the entire race, he had to come onto pit road due to him reporting a loose wheel. Now, this is important because if you remember yesterday's race, Hamlin won the race, but on the left rear tire, one of the lug nuts was loose, and the crew chief had to serve, I think, a $10,000 or $20,000 fine for that. Well, just to make sure, because remember, Hamlin, he's already locked into the playoffs. He's good. Just to make sure that we don't have any incidents, they decided to bring him onto pit road and change for left side tires because obviously you don't know which lug nut is loose or which part of the car is loose. To be safe, just take it 2 tires and replace them both, and on out Hamlin went, and that would be the last time we would ever see Hamlin anywhere near the top 10. During this time, Kevin Harvick was leading. However, again, the main story was Jimmy Johnson and William Byron. Byron, he had a really, really good car. Tremendous. A 180 from yesterday, which was a complete disaster. I think he lost 25 points yesterday. He gained it all right back and ran in the top 10 and really in the top 5 for a good portion of that race. Johnson was playing catch-up the entire way through. And with under 90 laps to go, he was on a mission. You could tell he had a really good car on the long run. It took him some time for him to get going, but once we got into that long run, he started picking off drivers one by one and got his way up to 6th place when the caution came out with 23 laps to go. Corey LaJoie cut a tire in turn 4, and that created this problem. All right, you pit for 4 tires or you pit for 2 tires. Now, because we were going to restart with around 16, 17 to go, I thought it was way too early in the race, or too many laps to go for 2 tires. Specifically, right after a long green flag run. I think it was about 60 laps or so. The race was run under green that last stage. So pitting for 2 tires to me just didn't make sense. But Cliff Daniels decided to bring Jimmy in for 2 tires, and he was the only driver on pit road to take 2 tires, I should say. Everyone else took 4. So me, as a Jimmy fan, I was losing it. I was like, why would you take 2 tires? If it was 2 laps to go, fine, sure, great. But with 15 to go, I thought that was ridiculous. But I forgot that Jimmy Johnson is a 7-time champion. There's a reason why he's won 83 races and 11 at Dover. Even on worn tires, on 60-plus worn tires, Johnson was still able to hold on for 3rd place. So really, he had the lead for a bit on that restart, the final restart. He had the lead for about 2 turns. And then entering turn 3 and 4, Harvick was able to stick it on the bottom, get on the throttle a lot earlier than Jimmy, and Harvick just took off. Truex, not so long after, was able to get by Jimmy. But then we saw this battle, 3rd to 5th. Johnson, Byron, and Bowman. Now, Bowman, he's already in, but it was a battle between Johnson and Byron. And there were a lot of moments during those final 50 or final 10 laps, I should say, where Byron had opportunities to pass Jimmy. But it looked like as though, as the laps were winding down, Jimmy was starting to pull away from Byron on 60-lap worn tires on 2 tires. I mean, it was incredible to see Johnson race in this event today. He sort of solidified and reminded us all, even though he's not winning races, even though he's not up front, there's a reason why he's a 7-time champion from this race right there. He was really good. Okay, now it's time to stop praising Jimmy. All right, sorry, I'm a Jimmy fan. All right, I get a bit into it when it comes in because he really did put on a really good show. All right, what can I say? And impressive effort to hold on for that 3rd place finish. Kevin Harvick would win the race, Martin Truex Jr. in 2nd, Byron in 3rd, and Alex Bowman rounds out the top 5. So overall, a really good day for Hendrick after yesterday, and actually outside of the Daytona Road Course. The Daytona Road Course, really almost all the Hendrick drivers ran well. Bowman was able to recover until he got taken out in that last lap. Aside from that Daytona Road Course, it seemed like Hendrick was just falling apart from how good they were at the start of the season. But now it seems like they might be starting to get something. Byron is now running, well, he ran really, really good. Bowman ran really good. Johnson running really good. Chase Elliott, we really couldn't see because he was taken out in that lap 7 crash. But the thing is that I feel like Hendrick, and specifically the 48 car, they have speed, but they don't know how to close out runs or be consistent over a period of time. It's like they have these little moments in certain races, like at the Daytona Road Course with Chase Elliott and Johnson. They both ran really, really strong, but look at what happened prior to that. They weren't that good. So it all depends on consistency. What happens in these next 10 races in the playoffs. Joe Logano in 6th place. Good effort for him, but hate that guy. There's a reason why I do not like Joe Logano. He wrecked Stenhouse on lap 7. And then last weekend, he dive bombed turn 1 for no reason to take out Bowman and Wallace on the final lap for 13th. So, yeah, I hate Logano. But 7th, I should say, is Eric Almirola. 8th is Brad Keselowski. 9th is Austin Dillon and Cole Custer with a solid top 10 finish. You see Kyle Busch there rebounds for a nice top 11 run. I was very surprised after the damage that he suffered from that lap 7 crash, able to rebound nicely. But we should point out that he just broke a record, Kyle Busch, today. The longest winless streak in a season without a win. Before, the record was, I think, 24 at Fontana in 2005. He either broke 24 or 25 races. He either broke the record or tied it. Only one stage won in 2020. Everything compared from this year to last year is down. Wins, top 5s, top 10s, laps led, average finishes. I don't know, man. I'm expecting that once the playoffs begin, Kyle Busch will come back to form, but this is a weird year for Kyle Busch. I think it has to do again with the fact that the lack of practice and qualifying has a role in it. But how long can you keep that up? Because Denny Hamlin, he work in the same shop as you. Martin Truex Jr., he work in the same shop as you. And yet they're out there winning races, or at least being up front. Martin Truex Jr., this is the first. He finished second again. I think this is the 6th or 7th straight race in a row he has finished in the top 3. So if your teammates, except for Jones, are running well, I don't know. How long can you keep up that excuse of practice and qualifying are the main reasons why Kyle Busch is not running well? Yeah, there's a look at the remainder of the results from today's race. And now let's take a look at the playoff grid. Top 13, they're all good. All good. They're all locked in for the playoffs that begins in 2 weeks. However, 14th, 15th, and 16th, they are not locked in. Bowyer, DiBenedetto, and Byron. That is right. After yesterday's race, Byron was below the cut line, 3 points behind Jimmy Johnson. Now, even though Johnson finished ahead of Byron overall scored more points than Johnson in the first 2 stages. I think Byron finished 3rd in stage 1. Byron then finished, I think, 6th in stage 2, compared to Johnson, who finished 7th or finished near the bottom half of the top 10 in both stages. So Byron won overall in terms of the entire race. He won more stage points compared to Jimmy Johnson. So heading into Daytona, Byron now has just a 4-point gap ahead of Jimmy Johnson. Matt DiBenedetto has just a 9-point gap ahead of Jimmy Johnson. It's going to be an absolute nail biter next weekend at Daytona. And like I said, as you read the title of this video, this is the calm before the storm. Once we get to Daytona next weekend, it's going to be absolute chaos, because Daytona not only is it unpredictable in terms of you don't know, you could get caught up in an accident, even if you're running first or 41st or 39th, let's just say that. Not only that, but it levels up the playing field. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he is massively aggressive, sometimes very stupid, the moves that he makes. He could cause an accident, or he could do what he did back in 2017 and win a race. Remember, he won at Daytona back in July of 2017. He's below the cut line, so if he wins, he jumps up, that knocks someone else down. Other drivers like, who knows, like Christopher Bell, or Ryan Newman, Matt DiBenedetto, or Tyler Reddick, who's a former winner in the Xfinity Series at Daytona. It's going to be a massively big day for NASCAR next weekend at Daytona. Hopefully the 2 hurricanes don't hit Florida by the time they get there, but as a race fan, in terms of excitement, wanting NASCAR to put on a good show, I am excited for Daytona. As a Jimmy Johnson fan, I'm not going to sleep well this week. I'm going to be so worried, just because I'm not worried the fact that Jimmy's going to finish the race. I'm just worried if someone else is going to win the race. I don't know what to think. It's just going to be mental. It's going to be a madness next weekend. I think it's going to be very fun to watch. I might do a watch party, host a reactions next weekend at Daytona. I'll think about it as we get closer to the race. But yeah, overall, my thoughts on this race, I actually enjoyed it. It was a race that nothing happened, but we still saw a lot of good battles, I felt like. And the storyline between Byron and Johnson was really fun to see see it progress throughout the race. Seeing Johnson rally back, or at least try to rally back to catch up to Byron. I will admit that NBC, I feel like, focused too much on Jimmy. Well, then again, I don't think there really wasn't much to talk about because Harvick was gone. I mean, you can't really talk about the leader if he's 8 seconds ahead. So I enjoyed the race. I was a nervous wreck when Johnson took 2 tires, but he managed to get it done for a top 3 finish. Congratulations to Kevin Harvick, his 56th career victory of the season. My God, that 4 team and 11 team. 1 week is Harvick, another week is Hamlin. Who do you pick? But overall, I enjoyed this race. But tell me, what are you guys' thoughts on this race in the comment section down below? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? And yeah, I can't wait for Daytona, but I also am going to be stressing over Daytona. But until next time, my name is Jack Cross from MDK. Thank you so much for watching MDK Victory Stop, and I'll see you guys next time.